I'm Catherine Pack, Senior Fellow and Deputy Director of Australia Chair here at CSIS, and welcome to another edition of Pacific Policy Pulse. I am joined here today by the Honourable Peter Kenilorea. He is a Member of Parliament of the Solomon Islands. Thank you, Peter, for joining us today.
Thank you, Catherine.
So what brings you to Washington, D.C. this week?
Yeah, so this week I've been involved in a meeting with different think tanks in Washington, D.C., discussing issues of concern, geopolitics, particularly in the Pacific.
So let me ask you really bluntly, when we hear Solomon Islands in the news or in commentary here in the U.S., it's often paired alongside the word China. And there's a lot of concern about a potential Chinese base in the Solomon Islands and Chinese influence. Do you think, from your position in Parliament in the Solomon Islands, that concern is overblown? Are we over-concerned with Chinese influence in the Solomons?
From where I sit, not at all. I think this is concerns very, very much along with my own concerns in terms of the seriousness of Chinese engagement with Solomon Islands government, including things like bases. So this is something that I've seen in the Solomons. And how the trajectory is looking for Solomon Islands' future relations with China. We have a government that is effectively the same government before the elections we had, the government that invited China and allowed for the switch from Taiwan to China. And initially, after the switch, 2 weeks after, there was already a company in the Solomons that was looking at leasing a 99-year lease of a strategic area. That was important feature was a natural deep water port. So for me, that initial almost a grab after the switch was a big indicator of the intentions early on. And then, of course, we have the security pact that was signed in 2022. And there as well, there's reference to replenishment of vessels and that. So I put those two together and seeing that, okay, this must be where this is heading. And then I think it's sort of unfinished business for the last government that we have a new prime minister that was not the prime minister back then with the decisions to switch, although he is now the Minister of Finance, still very, very influential. But I have a feeling that there's unfinished business with regards to this particular issue of including the base. So I think if there's an opportunity, there will be some invitation for some sort of a infrastructure that could end up being some sort of a base for China in Solomon Islands.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the security arrangement between China and the Solomon Islands from 2022 still is not completely public. Is that correct?
That is correct. So when the agreement was signed, I was the parliamentary chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee. And of course, with such important agreements, Parliament should at least have a look at what's been discussed. Although it's an executive decision in our constitution, but at least some sort of foresight in terms of warning or heads up to us so that we would know what's happening and perhaps just keep it within the committee, but to be aware, and representing the people. I think it's important. But like everybody else, we found out on Facebook that somebody leaked some pages of that agreement. There was a draft agreement at that time. But from what I've been told by those in the know, that if we saw the draft, we pretty much saw the final agreement. It was just like the draft. So for us, we're very concerned about the fact that it's not being made public. And I've written in my position as a chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee at the time, even raised it on the floor of Parliament about the need for disclosure of this, so we can have a look at it. But we haven't had it since, even till today. So we don't know the final draft or the final agreement, the signed one. We don't have a copy of that.
Well, ending on a little bit of a lighter note, you have a long flight ahead of you to get back home. What book are you reading these days?
Interestingly, with a lot that's happening around the world currently, globally as well, there's something they're calling a tariff war that's on, and some trade related. I picked up the book by Thomas Sowell on basic, economics as well. And I thought the title was quite catchy, Common Sense Economics. So Thomas Sowell is somebody that I, perhaps not as well known, but I've come across some of his writings. I'm currently reading that book, Basic Economics, and he outlines a very practical way and quite easy to understand economics, and trying to make sense of what's happening in the world right now.
That sounds like a book I need to go out and grab. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Pacific Policy Pulse.
Thank you very much, Catherine. An honor to be here with you.
Thank you.